Oh wow. It's cozy, it's fresh. It's cozy, it's something. Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Austin, also known as Static Appeal. Now today I'm going to be showing you how to write in the style of Retrowave, and I'm going to be using my track Pull Up to do that. But before you do anything else, what I need you to do is click that subscribe button. I promise you it's not that difficult. I'm posting new videos every single week, ranging from all different types of content, from educational stuff like breaking down music to breaking down how I shoot videos, or just me and my friends hanging out, discussing relevant topics and just funny stuff like that. So do that. So Pull Up is my single that is out now, and it is in the genre of Retrowave and Synthwave. And it is mid-tempo, and the BPM is 100, because you know you gotta keep it 100, right? Why do I try to be funny? Let's go ahead and I will run you through some parts of this project just so you get a gist of what the overall feel and vibe of the track sounds like. Let's get started. So this is the project file for Pull Up. I tried to tidy it up as best as I could for you. Now we're going to go over really quickly, and I'll play some of the parts that I think highlight the essence and the vibe of the song that we're going to be covering in the breakdown. So let's get into it. Okay, so that was the intro, and then let's go into the build here. Cool, and then this retro part here that we'll be covering has a ton of like 80s type synths in it. Cool, and then let's go into the build up to the second drop, which is my favorite. Starting out, we just have these effects here in this vocal. Now this is just a noise riser and a vocal that I chopped up. So let's listen to this. By itself, we just have some glitchy stuff. Then we just have like a standard little noise riser. And then this vocal here. So for drums, we just have it's pretty simple and standard. It's just like really simple. Let's dive into this patch right here. So I made this guy in Serum. Let's unfreeze this. And then let's open this guy up. Boop. Oh, that's boring. There we go. Okay. So in basic shapes, what this is here is this is just a square wave. And then we're just doing some pulse modulation on that. And then same here, square wave, pulse modulation on that. LFO1, yeah, okay, so LFO1, which is right here, is affecting the master tuning, so pretty much that's where it's getting the, and you can hear that here. Oh, that's quiet. I'll just let this hang here for a sec so that you can pause it if you want to recreate these patches for yourself. So here is this area, if you want to pause and take a screenshot. And here is the effects area here. We have distortion, we have a filter on it, a comb filter, compressor to really bring that up. We have a little delay on it. We have a chorus on that, which is essential pretty much with any retro sound. And then we have an EQ just to kind of take out the highs and a little bit of the lows. We froze that, and then we turned it into audio. And then when it gets to here, we just have some like heavy reverb thrown on it to kind of wash it out. And then as it gets closer to the build up, this kind of comes back into focus. So for this guy, I pretty much just took the same patch, and that guy is right here. And I just routed the global pitch on this guy, and it just ramps up. So we have this going up into the drop. And then we have the Pluck Bass. The Pluck Bass is really cool. Now I did make two different things just so it was easier to mix. So we have the mids and the highs, and then we have the sub of that patch. So for this we have, there's the drive. Yeah, so you have some pretty standard waveforms here. These are right under analog. We got boom, and we got this guy way down here. So we have a pulse wave. And then we kind of have like a saw wave. Sorry, I don't know anything about music. We have a sine wave here with a little bit of bend on it, and then same here. And that is being modulated by, I believe, character. Okay, cool. I don't even know my own patches. So actually, this sound by itself without neutron on sounds kind of crappy. Like, oh, not that great. So in neutron, what I did was we really kind of honed it in, turned it up with the compressor. We honed it in with the EQ. I know EQs should usually not look like this, but I really wanted to boost up the areas that I wanted to accentuate. And then what makes it really kind of come through is the exciter in neutron. Let's play without that. So I mean, it's kind of almost there. But once we turn this on, and I have a retro saturation, which is very warm and kind of excites the mid lows and the highs, so it kind of gets crunchy. And I just have that boy cranked all the way up to 100% blend, so only the distortion, or everything that's being distorted, is what's coming through. So then we have going from to this. So it's it's a lot more intense. You can see the areas that are being highlighted. And then the sub is nothing special. It's honestly just that patch with, yeah, I'm cutting off all of the highs pretty much, and you just have the sub. So if you have headphones or a good monitor setup, you'll be able to hear that. But yeah, not a lot. It just is to support that patch. And then underneath of this Pluck Bass, we have this guy here, which is this, but I chopped it up into audio. And it looks like I use a frequency shifter to get that pitch bend right there. And then this weird kind of glitchy part, all in the frequency shifter, which is an amazing tool for just like creating some weird sounds and just adding and kind of manipulating whatever sound that you have into something completely different. It's especially useful in electronic music. So there we go, we have the pluck bass, we have that glitch bass that's underneath of it, so we'll play those two together. Yeah. Cool. Oh, and then also going underneath that, we have this beautiful pluck patch that I made in Serum. All those nostalgia vibes with this guy here. Oh. We watching Stranger Things or a spooky movie from the 80s. I'll dive into this later when we get to the big retro portion of it. So again, with this build here, it's just all of those things that we talked about combined with the noise riser. Then we have this cool little effects laser stab sound. Whoa. I'm cool. Okay. Yeah, we have this little effects laser here. It's just, I guess I'm using that more as like an impact. And then another noise riser right here underneath of it. That's a lot more like tonal rather than just a noise riser. So altogether in this build, it sounds like this. Cool. So then we have this there. Yeah. And now we're in the drop. So let's open this guy up. So this is actually just the same exact patch right here. But I took it and I did a couple little things differently with this guy. As you can hear. So this is a lot more distorted. It's a lot more crunchier. And what I did to get that was, so Ableton, if you're not already hip and you do use Ableton, Ableton's website, let's go there really quick. So on the homepage of Ableton's website, if you actually click packs, especially with the release of Ableton 10, they put out some super cool packs. These are all of them right here. These are crazy good quality too. There's samples in them. There's effects racks in them. There are instruments in them. They are just so good, and I would highly suggest getting these for your library. So I honestly can't remember which pack these came from, but this is a distortion. So let's turn off these guys here. And all that's inside of it is just a saturator and an echo, which, by the way, the addition of echo in Ableton 10 is phenomenal. It's a really, really good echo plugin. And then from there, I just went and added another distortion to it called Chorus Buzz. And it is under Drive and Glow. Okay. It is a reverb, but it's also like a distortion, which is really cool. And then on top of that, I added an EQ, boosted up a lot of the lows, took down some mids to make room for that snare. And I'm sure there was some frequency that was ringing right here, so I kind of snatched that out. And this is what we're left with. It's really simple. And then all together, we have a little vocal sample right here. And we reintroduce that lead. And then we also bring this back in just to kind of layer underneath of it so that it's not like the same thing over and over. And now we are at one of my favorite parts, the retro part. So let's play this guy. Let's play like just these. This is like an 80s horror / action movie. Like someone's on a mission right now. Okay, so there's a couple things going on, but let's start with the patches because I know everybody wants to see patches. So this boy is super easy to make. Pretty much anything retro, when you get down to like the roots of retro, anything like analog synthy is very basic because at the time most analog synths either operated off of saw waves. Pulse waves were kind of introduced a little later in the game, but pretty much saw waves, the basic four. You have saw waves, triangle waves, sine waves, and then square waves. A lot of these sounds really aren't that hard to make, so let's dive into this first one, which is the Pluck. So when we open this up, you can see how simple this is. We just have two default wavetables, which is like their default saw wave kind of. And we have one oscillator. Oscillator A is turned down 2 octaves, so we have like alone by itself. I love that so much. And then we have the 4 voices in there. It is not super detuned. It's actually brought in just a little bit. And then we blended that with the original wave, and then we add oscillator B, which is up 1 octave. That kind of sparkly, I guess that's where I got the idea from. That like sparkly sound that just kind of sits right on top of it. So it's not super noticeable. It's not like the meat of the sound, but it's like an asset to it. And then we have this filter here, which is a low pass. And it's opening up on every single hit. So I'm guessing so I routed that cut off with this envelope right here. So whenever it hits, it opens up all the way to let all the sound come in. But as it decays, it falls back. So you can see that here. And it kind of just makes room for other noises. In effects, I don't think there's too much going on. We have a hyper, and we'll play with just this. So like if we were to turn this off, it's a cool sound, but it's not there yet. So let's turn this back up to like right there. So you can kind of hear that. It's a little more, the tones is spread out a little bit more and a little detuned. Then we turn on the EQ. This is cutting off some of the lows and kind of bringing in some of the crispiness of the highs. And then we have some reverb, because you gotta have reverb with these synths. Now I usually don't put reverb in the patch itself. I usually use an external or third-party reverb, but in this case, I just really liked this hall reverb. It just and then we have a filter. We have a phase filter. Okay, so this is kind of acting like our chorus a little bit. Yeah. All right, let's move on to this pad, because this pad is nasty. So this is a little more complicated, but not really. The These are going to be both found under the analog tab under the wavetables. So these are both pulse width modulation waves. This guy. Oh, okay. So that's basically what makes it that kind of more retro wave. So it's kind of riding in and out of tune, just like to simulate almost like a tape cassette. If you've ever heard like a tape kind of like either speed up or slow down, that it's simulating that kind of effect. Then we also have white noise kind of going on in the background, just to kind of beef up and add another layer to the sound. Ooh, my bad. Right there. And then we have the sub, which I didn't realize was playing such an important part. You would think I didn't even write the song. I promise I did. Please believe me. A conspiracy. Static Appeal uses a ghostwriter. Just kidding. I ghostwrite for other people. That's a conspiracy. But yeah, that is that for that patch. And again, oh, I did actually use it. So without this, it sounds like this. It's there, it sounds great, but then I wanted to bring up the highs and the crunchiness a little bit more. So that's where this little curve here and this curve here that's what that's doing. You can hear those harmonics a lot more. But anyways, let's freeze these guys and we will go into this bass line right here. This doesn't sound like this patch is gonna be too complicated at all. No, not really. So we have a saw wave rounded to square that's underneath analog as well. It's down here, boop. And then we just have a basic shapes saw wave. Basic shapes, if you're new to Serum, is also under analog. These are both at 4 voices per wavetable. We have a noise, so let's put this. So that's kind of adding towards the transient, so like the hit of each of those little stabs. That's what that's doing there, and let's put on A. Oh, and these are both turned down 2 octaves. So we have a little delay here, and so what I'm doing here, this isn't like a typical delay. Whenever you bring the delay like this to where it's repeating so fast, it really helps add like a timbre to the sound, and gives it more of like a metallic-y, ringy sound. So let's play this. Let's see if I can just really bump this guy up. Bring that back down. And then if we bring the feedback up, you'll definitely hear what I'm talking about. Like that. That's used in dubstep a lot, like rhythm. Little side tip if you produce rhythm. And then we have a compressor to bring that beef back up. And then we have an EQ, and we're just taking out some of the muddiness, it looks like, and bringing up some of the highs. There we go. And then of course we have OTT, compressor, and then EQ. OTT is like every producer's like, I wouldn't even say secret weapon because everybody uses it. If you don't use OTT and you're wondering how to really beef up a lot of your sounds because they're not hitting that hard, get OTT. It is free off X4 Records. I will link that down in the description because you need that. So without it, it sounds like this. With OTT, woo! We have a compressor on it, and I am using Ableton's stock compressor to sidechain the kick. So whenever the kick hits, it's going to duck this bass line, so it kind of rides with the kick. And then we have an EQ, and I am really taking out a lot of the lows and really accentuating the mids and highs here. So yeah, those are the 3 main big retro patches that I made for this track. Love that. And let's keep going. we're bringing that pitch, that glide lead back in. And then right here, I know for a fact that I use transposition modulation on this. So this is just that vocal here.
Pull up to the club.
And basically used that vocal as a riser, which a lot of people do in electronic music. So don't think I'm something special. Sorry guys, but it is a cool trick if you don't know how to do it. Like if you had a vocal here,
Pull up to the club.
then you take that and in Ableton, if you didn't know how to do this, so I originally, hold on, side story. I originally started in Logic and I can't even believe that. I struggled so much with production. Not that you can't in Ableton, because you can, it's just so much harder to do these things. Ableton is amazing with just catering to the producer and just making things really simple and really fast. The HUD of I'm sorry, that's a video game thing. The DAW of Ableton looks complicated, but once you spend spend a couple days in it, and you will never go back to Logic, except for maybe recording vocals, because recording vocals in Logic, especially with the option of flex pitch in Logic, so helpful, because then you don't have to go out and buy Melodyne. But yeah. Okay. My camera died, so let's get that swapped out really quick. Okay, we're back. Click, click. Alrighty, so yeah, producing in Logic is, recording vocals in Logic is really good. That's probably the only thing that I still use Logic for, because of the option that they added with 10, with Logic Pro, or with Logic Pro 10. Is the capability of flex pitch, which pretty much eliminates the need to buy Melodyne if you have Logic. Super helpful. So yeah, so let's go into this right here. So we have, again, this vocal right here.
Pull up to the club.
And I took where the dude is saying like, and stretch that vocal out like crazy. And then we go into here. Again, if you don't know how to do it, if you've always wondered what this envelope section is, click on it, go to Transposition Modulation. Once you click on that, it'll open up this window here. And you can draw in points to where you want to like pitch bend, do whatever you want with the pitch. So we have it starting out at its root pitch, and we are going up to 1 octave. So let's hear this. With everything. Cool. Okay, and now we are at my favorite part, the second drop, which, so I this was by accident. What you hear here happened by accident. And there's a ton of stuff going on here, but these are actually, a lot of these are samples from those packs that I was talking about earlier with Ableton. I'll show you which pack that came from, because, oh my gosh, saved my life. So the original idea, you'll kind of hear what I was going for. I took samples from the original drop right in here. So I took this sample here, chopped that boy up, had it here, and was going to be messing around with the pitch to make it go. or something like that. And so you can hear that right here. And then, so it's gonna be kind of similar to the first drop, just kind of a variation. But then what I did was I was looking through these samples, and you can find that under samples, one shot, stabs. So let's see here. So these like funky jazz stabs pretty much. And I was like, ooh, that would be so cool to incorporate that sort of style with retro. So let's listen through these first couple bars. Ugh, I love that so much. Let's go one by one. So we have this brass stab here, and we have like these horns here. Oh, I love it. And what this automation here is doing is panning. So, and let me tell you, I love these little bloops right here, these little laser sounds. I love that so much. That's like that's probably my favorite sound in this project. I know it's so small, but yeah. This is a guitar amp sound. And then this was like another vocal of someone just yelling. Oh, I think this is Sullivan King. Yeah, that's Sullivan King sample pack. That's him, like, I think his amp stuttering or something. And then him yelling. And then we have... and then boop boop. And then we have... that sound there, and then like this vintage, and then like oh, I think this is Wax Motif. Yeah, this is Wax Motif. One of their like bass house womps. It's like womp, and then just chop that really short. And like a flute, like that shouldn't be in there, like, but it works. And then all together. We have kind of a breakdown here and then back in. And then the outro, which is again just the vocal. Just stretched out, and yeah, I actually think I liked that you could kind of hear the samples being stretched a little bit, so that's why I left it like that. So yeah, that is the whole project file. One last thing that I forgot to touch on was the master chain in the Pull Up project. So this is the shortest chain that I've ever done, like literally the shortest thing that it's crazy. This is another little effects rack that is included in Drive and Glow. And it kind of has, this is kind of to put the polish on your track. So what I did is I just kind of turned the compressor up a little bit, added a little bit of saturation, so without it, it sounds like this. And then with it, it just kind of adds more punch to it, and that's probably with the compressor. But yeah, that's it. It's a pretty simple project, and it's still as effective as like a Retrowave track. So yeah, that is it. So yeah, that is how I would write a track in the style of Retrowave or mid-tempo. Of course, there are countless ways that you can write a track in that genre. Also, let me know down in the comments what kind of other videos that you would like to see. If you like this one, would you want to see how I produced another track in a different genre? If so, leave a comment. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because I'm posting again every single week, and I will see you next week. Bye.